Welcome to Tournament in a TeaBreak, Wimbledon style, and I am joined once more, I'm so giddy, by
Chris Oddo.
Lord Oddo of Richmond, or Laird. Is it Lord or Laird?
Yeah, I'm Lord.
Lord.
Please.
Okay.
Please refer to me as such.
Okay, alright. Well, Lord Oddo of Richmond, what a day. The first day of Wimbledon seemed to start fairly slow. Tennis Twitter was like, oh my God, this is so boring. And then things got real. So where shall we start? Why don't we start with the 15-year-old Corrie Coco Gauff?
Good idea, I think, to start with her.
So this was a matchup that only movies could talk about. Corrie was inspired to play tennis by seeing Serena play. Didn't end up with Serena, ended up with big sister Venus. But oh my God, we weren't disappointed. She plays with that kind of fearlessness that the young players have. I saw some variety in her game.
Yeah.
She can mix things up. She did mix things up because otherwise Venus controls everything from the baseline. You know that Venus can come in and, with that wingspan can cover the net, but she still managed to get past her.
Coco Gauff is like pretty much amazing to me because she hasn't played anything at this level. She's done junior slams. She went to qualifying with a wild card at Roland Garros 3 weeks ago and lost in the second round. Here she comes fortunately gets a Wimbledon wild card into qualifying just about 5 days before the draw happens. She shows up, I guess not really feeling the pressure, performs well in the qualies. Not a huge surprise, but I can't say I was expecting her to come through the qualies, no problem, but she did a nice job. She upset the top seed in the first round of qualies, but then she steps onto court one today with a brand new roof against a 5-time Wimbledon champion and plays with such gusto, such poise, and then owns it. Like, her body language is so strong and so assertive. When was the last time you saw a 15-year-old with that kind of body language?
Well, I was asked on Love Sport Radio. I just did a late segment for them, and they said, not to be personal, but what were you doing at 15? And I thought, well, I was doing sports. I was a hurdler at this point, so I was doing that transition from 300-meter hurdles and 200-meter hurdles, because you're still a young teen, into 400-meter hurdles. So I was sporty, but nowhere near this. She was fearless, and with the same kind of fearlessness that we've seen from Vondrousova, from Yastremska, from all of these young players that are coming up that just don't, Anisimova, Kenin, they don't care who's on the other side of the net. They play their game. You have to play to their game. People often whinge and moan. What are we going to do when the Williams sisters go? What are we going to do when the big names, what's the future of the WTA? And I think we're seeing it right now, not just in Coco, but in Barty, Anisimova, Kenin. If they get themselves together, they're going to be, they're going to be great players. We thought we saw it in Kazakhina. We'll come on to Osaka in a minute, but
Yastremska's in there too. She hasn't really had her moment at the slams. I mean, so these other names are a little bit fresher. Vondrousova lost today, but she, that was strange, right? It's just a strange, chaotic day. But let me stick with Coco Gauff a little bit longer, because this match was really interesting because she had the break in the second and she hadn't been broken yet. And it looked like she maybe would cruise to the finish line. Then she played a horrible game with 2 double faults. Venus got back on serve, and then she broke her right back. So that was impressive in and of itself, because you thought maybe this was a time she would maybe capitulate. Then serving for the match at 5-4, Venus had saved 3 match points, and Gauff then was facing a break point and served a 108-mile-per-hour second serve on this point, facing a break point, and went into the body of Williams and was a service winner. And then she took the next 2 points in the match. I had to watch it 17 times on video to actually see that it really happened. Just absolutely, I mean, just crazy go for broke point right there. But I guess that's where her head is at. And you're talking about they have no fear. They're playing tennis on their terms. 108-mile-per-hour second serve. Not many women hit a first serve that fast.
And if she's doing that at the age of 15, what is she going to be like when she fills out a little bit? And grows into herself a little bit.
I think she will.
Because she looks to me still quite slight and still quite sort of
sinewy,
tween.
Yeah.
So I feel that there's still, and I mean this with the greatest respect, but I feel that there's still a lot of growing for her to do when she needs to fill out a little bit more, get a little bit more muscle. But I mean, if she's doing this now, what is she going to be like because that's scary good. Who's she got next?
She has Rybarikova.
Oh, that's
Magdalena
tough.
Rybarikova.
That's a tough
2017 semifinals here at Wimbledon, but has lost a lot of early matches in other years. She doesn't even have, I think, she may have like just around 500 record, even with that semifinal run. So she's not really been a consistent force on the grass. Right. But we know she's good on the surface, and she's a crafty player. It'll be a tricky one.
Yep, for sure. Now, that was great on the plus side. Mm-hmm. On the negative side, though, so up until this point, everything had been all going swimmingly along. No real surprises. Maybe Sabalenka going out to Rybarikova, but Sabalenka has had a bit of a horrible year. Made a bit of a run at Eastbourne, but really not much to write home about. Let's start with Naomi Osaka. I think let's start with the women. Osaka comes up against Yulia Putintseva in Birmingham. She loses to Putintseva, and we all know what Puts can be like. She's feisty, she's in your face, she's fist pumpy, and she also has a game. She's what I like to call patiently aggressive. So she plays an aggressive game, but she has the patience to build her points. So she'll she's not like a traditional counterpuncher where it's all placement and picking. She'll whack the ball at you, but she will whack the ball at you all day long until she gets a winner, until she makes you hit one extra ball. And she just frustrates the living daylights out of players, including Osaka. Now, when she lost in Birmingham, Osaka declined to come into press, took the fine, as is their right to do. Yeah. And she lost in straights. Putintseva just had the measure of her. Osaka seems to have a thing about grass at the moment. Doesn't really like it. Doesn't really want to like it. She came into press and then basically was asked, I think, by Russell Fuller, has it been hard to get used to the new level of fame you have? Is that one of the reasons? To which she just turned to the moderator and said, "Can I leave?" The moderator was like, "Well, why?" She goes, "Because I feel I'm about to cry." And then the moderator just was like, "We have to leave it there." You feel for the kid, you really do. She propelled overnight into stardom. The first time was chaotic, bittersweet, robbed her of her moment. I think I'm justified in saying that. The second time she was on the point of a meltdown in that Australian Open final. She took herself off court, she pulled herself together, came back and beat Petra Kvitova. And it was one of those finals I think many people didn't really mind who won, because everybody's heart was with Osaka after what happened at the US Open. Everybody loves Petra. But since then, the wheels have just come off spectacularly. And by that, I mean they're all bouncing down the road in 4 different directions. Yeah.
She has just struggled to find some balance in her mental approach. I think she's got nerves. I think she's got issues. She switched coaches, and everybody thought that was one of the craziest decisions we've seen come down the pike in a while. And maybe that is having its effect as well. I mean, it can't be easy to go from where the comfort level she had with Sasha to then move into with a new team. I mean, more power to her if that's the decision she felt she needed to make. But a lot of stuff has been kind of conspiring against her. But she doesn't seem to have any confidence. She doesn't seem to have any comfort, and isn't enjoying playing right now.
Yeah, exactly. When did she split with? Was it after the Australian Open?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it, because everybody was like, well, wait, you just got 2 slams with this guy, and now... Yeah, I mean, nobody likes to, she at least, we've been in press conferences before when players get upset, and it's not easy to see, because at the end of the day, they're human, and you do feel for them. But I don't know what she does to fix it. I don't know whether she just comes through this period. And, I thought that with Barty taking number 1, that would take some pressure off her. Mm-hmm. But I think mentally she's made up her mind that she doesn't like the grass, she doesn't like Europe, she doesn't like the clay, she doesn't like anything about this period of time. Yeah. It will be interesting to see how she responds in the run-up to the US Open.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. It started as like, okay, the clay and the grass are clearly not my best surfaces, but I'm going to try to get better on it this year. No expectations. But yet it was the expectations that ultimately seemed to drag her down and kind of put this dark cloud over her, where she just didn't seem to relax and be free. And yeah, maybe she, we can also say she just lost to the better player. A bad matchup, 0-3 now against Putintseva.
Well, you know what Puts is like though. She can get under. Number 1 is the getting under your skin, And number two, the girl can actually play. She's just a bit of a mental head case. I mean, if she'd ever sorted her, I had to laugh in Birmingham. There were people there that obviously it was their first time, and they were like, "Oh, you're so cool and calm under pressure." And Putin Saber looked around at the regular faces that she sees and just burst out laughing. And she looked at us and was just like, kind of, well, they know that that's not true. So, it's interesting what people's perceptions of her are, but she's a usefully painful player to play against.
Yeah, but you said it best. The wheels have come off spectacularly, and when that happens, you lose first round matches. So she just has to find a way to get the wheels back on. We know how good she can be. Get back on the hard courts, relax a little bit, don't take it so seriously. But it's hard when you have 7 endorsements that you feel like you're not playing just for yourself. You're playing for your parents. You're playing for the money. You're playing for the companies you now represent, which are so many. Yeah. And you're on the covers of magazines, and you probably become a little self-conscious when it happens. I can imagine that must be difficult. So not a good Wimbledon, to sum it up for Naomi Osaka.
Well, also not a good Wimbledon for somebody that I thought was going to do outstandingly well was Tsitsipas. Stefanos Tsitsipas, and God love him, when he came into press, I thought he was either going to cry or jump off the table, or both.
Yeah, it took him a good 10-15 seconds to respond to that first question. He had to summon, I think, all his power not to just grab the microphone and throw it across the room and scream, because we know he can be volatile and he has a temper where he's hard on himself. He's kind of a perfectionist, but he calmed down and he spoke well, and I was impressed by how he handled such a difficult day and a difficult situation. And he said the things he wanted to say. He's clearly very frustrated and very disappointed. And what I found most interesting is that he was already disappointed and lacking confidence yesterday, to where he said he broke a racket in practice, and he was angry at himself for the way he was behaving. And he came in today, I don't think, feeling 100% mentally and in terms of where his game is at right now. So he sounds like a guy that needs a longish vacation, like a 2-3 week vacation. Forget about the tennis, have some fun again, and then come back fresh for the hard courts. Yeah,
I mean, and let's just have a word about Fabiano. I mean, we've all been joking over the grass court season. What is this? An Italian that actually plays well on grass, but he had a great run in Eastbourne. It was a well-deserved win for Fabiano. He really, especially after the pain of losing that tiebreak, where he was right on the cusp, and then it all sort of then Tsitsipas clawed his way back in, and then you thought business as usual. Tsitsipas is going to settle himself down and sort himself out. But
I think there's a reason why he was in a third round. He lost to Stefanos last year here at Wimbledon. He's actually quite a good player. I find him easy on the eyes in terms of his game.
Easy? Oh, I see what you mean.
In terms of his game, he's a stylish player. Yeah. And Tsitsipas made the comments that his forehand had improved drastically from the last time they met. Maybe he's a player on the rise. Look out for him.
And hopefully he'll be a little less volatile than Fognini, and we'll have a little less Jigglypuff as Seppi.
Yeah.
So we'll actually have an Italian guy to sort of hang our hats on. But Tsitsipas was joined in the exit stage right by Zverev, who very famously at Roland Garros was like, how do you think I feel? Everybody's talking about Stefanos, nobody's talking about me. Well, they're certainly talking about you now. This whole rubbish about Ivan Lendl having allergies and not being able to come in. The guy was born in Europe. It's not like he was born in the States.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
But he said something very interesting in this press conference, that the last couple of days have been rough for him. We know that he's having to do a lot of his management by himself. And he alluded to something and said the last couple of days have been very rough. They're things that aren't in his control, and that they got him down. Now, I don't know, he's talked before about doing his own management and things like having to book his own practice courts and sort out his own strings. That I can't see as being rough on you, because that's the stuff that you have to do when you're coming up. So I hope that this isn't something a lot more serious. We know how close he is with his family, and this to me sounds more than just the faff of doing your own management. This sounds quite deep, and I really hope that it isn't something that is a little bit more sinister.
Yeah, just to quote, in the last few days, I would say are very rough for me personally. I'm not going to get into details, he said. So he's clearly has some issues off the court, and we've known that he's had some issues for a while now. Maybe things are not maybe he's frustrated that he can't solve the problems that he had, either with his management, with his coaching. Maybe he's got several things going on at once. But
well, the thing is, though, we all thought when Lendl said that he was going to work with him that he would be able to work the same magic as he did with Murray.
We did.
And it depends on who you talk to. Some people say that Zverev isn't particularly well driven. Others say, he's always late to everything. He says he's always on time for work. He's late, he's the guy that will be late if you guys all arrange to meet to go out for dinner. But he always turns up for work and always gives it. But who was it he was coached by? Who was he being coached by that when it split, it was fairly acrimonious?
It was, I think it was Juan Carlos Ferrero.
That's it.
Yeah.
And it was fairly acrimonious, and he was like, he kind of hinted that Zverev didn't work.
Yeah, that could have just been personal differences there. I mean, we haven't heard anything from Lendl. It's very tricky what's happening with Zverev. I mean, we were so high on him.
But Lendl does this. He did this with Andy as well, where it was just like, yep, I'm done now, I'm not travelling, bye.
Yeah, he may very well be gone pretty soon.
Andy was pretty, I can remember him in Madrid, and he was like, I'm just really cut up because I really need my coach. And it caught him by surprise, and I just wonder. It just feels to me that there's something a little bit more sinister, because there's no reason why he can't. We've seen him; he's managed to get to the second week of Slam. There's no reason why he can't do it.
A few weeks ago,
quarterfinals
at Roland Garros. But you're saying you believe maybe it's close to or at the end with Lendl.
I honestly think it is. He was quite cagey about it in France, but the thing with Lendl is he wants results.
Yeah.
Masters isn't going to cut it for him. He wants Slam results, and he's not getting them.
Yeah. He's not here. Right?
No,
he's not.
If he was here, he didn't really make much of an impact, did he? Okay. Well, let's look ahead a little bit to tomorrow, and I want to talk about the Quarter of Death.
Everybody wants to talk about.
Oh my goodness! So this. I don't honestly know that I've ever seen such a stacked quarter in my life. So just so that we give you the rundown, we have Ashley Barty, world number 1.
She's good.
French Open champion, an all-round good egg. We have former French Open and Wimbledon champion Garbiñe Muguruza, Muggsy, who won the French, then spent the entire year saying, I can't wait for the French to come around so that you guys stop asking me about having won the French. Loses in the French, very tearfully comes out with the greatest put down of all time about the 25 languages or whatever, and then goes and wins Wimbledon, has to do all of that all over again. So we've got Donna Vekic, who, oh God love her, I've cried for her this grass court season. She's a really good grass court player. And she's just been, she lost to Garcia in Nottingham, was very tearful. Auntie Annabelle Croft had to give her a bit of a hug. Then she had Barty in the first round in Eastbourne. Not Eastbourne, sorry, in Birmingham.
Never a good idea.
Never a good idea. Then she pulled out of Eastbourne altogether, which was probably the right play. So she's got Alison Risk, who won in, I want to say, Den Bosch.
Yep.
There you go. That's right. So that's not a great start. Then you've got Belinda Bencic, who, like all Swiss people, seem to think that they can boot the cows and the goats off the grass, and the grass belongs to them. Yeah. Then you've got Serena Williams, last year's finalist.
Keep going.
And all the other accolades that come with it, including chasing down that 24 that, let's face it, everybody wants her to get, because we all want Margaret Court written out of the record books. Mm-hmm. You've got Julia Gerges, also not too shabby on the green stuff. You've got Carla Suarez Navarro, who can play on the green stuff. You've got Maria Sharapova, Samantha Stosur, and then at the bottom of this quarter, after all of that,
not even out of the quarter yet.
We haven't even got out of the quarter yet. You have the defending Wimbledon champion Angelique Kerber. So I think whoever gets to the second week, whoever comes out of Manic Monday in that quarter, just give them the title, and then we can have Saturday off to go shopping.
They'll certainly be match tough. That's the way it looks. I mean, you're talking about 7 former Grand Slam champions in that quarter alone. I think 4 of them have won Wimbledon previously. You go down in the other quarter in that half. It's really the whole half that's difficult, because you've got 2 more former Grand Slam champions in Kvitova, Sloane Stephens down there. You've got Johanna Konta down there. I mean, that half is incredible. Yeah. That quarter is incredible, and tomorrow is going to be one fun day at Wimbledon because of it.
Yeah, I mean, Oh, I don't even know where to begin. I wouldn't know even who to pick to have photos of, because it's just so loaded. And then let's cast our eyes to the switcheroo men. So Nadal and Federer. After all that kerfuffle over who should be seeded where, we now come to them opening their account. And I think it's fair to say that there's probably not going to be many eyes on Yuichi Sugita, because I don't think he's going to put up that much of a defence against Nadal. All eyes are going to be on Nick Kyrgios versus his oppo, Jordan Thompson. Because if he comes through, then we're in for another Nadal and Kyrgios, and we know what happened the first time those two met on grass here.
Wouldn't that be fun? There'd be a lot of angry energy among fan bases in that one.
The thing is, though, that the reality is that Rafael Nadal has not performed to his seeding for, I think, 4 out of the last 5 years. The only thing that's pulling his seeding up is his run to the semi-final last year. If he hadn't done that run to the semi-final, his seeding would be even lower. Mm-hmm. That's a reality and a fact. And I don't buy this whole, this is so unfair. The formula has been around for a good many years and has been used for a good many years. I dare say Nadal has even benefited from it a couple of times.
Yeah, I would imagine he has.
So, this whole knickers in a knot nonsense, make your tennis do the talking instead of your gob.
I'm sure Rafa himself is over talking about it, but the media doesn't want to let it go at this point.
True, but doesn't that say more about Nadal's confidence that he's so fixated on the fact that he's been treated unfairly? I think mentally he knows that if he comes up in the same way that we knew that if we had a Federer semi-final for Roland Garros, it would be Nadal that coasted through. Mm-hmm. We knew that, and it's the same on grass. If we have this, it's going to be Federer's, because this is his court. I mean, I don't see why this is such a difficult concept.
I don't know if Rafa's going to make it to the semis. And
I don't think he is.
I think that Federer likely will, but if they do go head to head, I'd flip a coin on that one, because
Seriously?
I know Roger's beaten Rafa a lot on other surfaces lately, and I know he is, quote unquote, the grass king, but I really liked what Nadal did at Wimbledon last year. I thought he looked really comfortable on this surface. I thought he played well. The battle with Del Potro and the battle with Djokovic was clearly a cut above everybody else, but they were neck and neck.
Yeah.
But again, Rafa's draw.
Rafa's draw is horrible.
Whether it's because of what he's seeded third, it's not really just a random draw. He's got a really difficult draw, starting from his first match, really, because Sugita's not bad on grass. But then if he gets Kyrgios, if he gets maybe Tsonga third round, and if he potentially gets Cilic fourth round.
No, you'll get Shapovalov third round.
I see Tsonga coming through.
Do you?
Breaking news, because Shapovalov has not been very hot lately, and I think Tsonga on this surface.
But Tsonga on grass would be horrible then.
Yeah, that would be the worst matchup for Nadal. So he could. If the draw breaks in the exact way he doesn't want it to be, he'll have a really tough second, third, fourth round, and that will make things difficult for him. But then again, if it breaks in the way that it works easy and the matchups work, I can see him going deep, and I can see him challenging Federer. I guess we can agree to disagree on that one, but I liked him a lot on the grass last year.
And yeah, I just couldn't bring myself to pick against Federer on grass, deep in the tournament.
Yeah.
Good point. In the same way that I wouldn't pick against Nadal on clay at that stage of the tournament.
That extreme.
It is, but I'll give you the fact that grass is maybe slightly a bit woollier than clay, but I would still back Federer. He's at least had a lot more grass court time.
Already got the 10th title under his belt, got a little bit better draw, and with Federer center court, I mean, that's a...
Yeah, I just wouldn't pick against him. Well, today has been packed, and what we need to do is go away, digest, write some stuff tomorrow. But we'll be back tomorrow to talk about the rest of the round one and that bonkers quarter.
That'll be fun.
It's gonna. I mean, the first round's always tough to cover and tough to talk about. This has been the hardest by far for a while, I think. in terms of just the sheer volume of stuff going on.
Yeah, some really some matches that really took your attention away for large chunks. There were a lot of emotional highs and lows today, which I don't really remember happening in the first round of other slams in recent memory. So it's a little bit draining.
It was, but we will come back refreshed.
We will.
And bright-eyed and bushy-tailed tomorrow. But until then, you have, of course, been listening to Ros Satar
and Chris Oddo.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.